The control blocks, or the dark orange ones, include the repeat loops. Now, these are a really important feature of coding and are really, really important to Scratch. All that happens is anything that's inside the jaws of this block will be repeated that many times. So here it's going to be 10 times. So I'm going to make a really simple stack of code here. I'm going to have him move 10 steps, and I'm going to put a green flag outside of it. So what will happen now is when I click the green flag, he will move 10 steps, then he'll bounce to the top of the jaws again and move another 10 steps. Bounce to the top of the jaws, move another 10 steps, and he'll do that 10 times before the code can move on to the next layer. So in total, he's going to have 10 movements of 10 steps. So here we go. I'll hit the green flag, and he's moved 10 steps 10 times. I could adjust it, and I could have him doing one step each time. So this time, I will have 10 movements of one step, so he won't move anywhere near as far, but he's doing it that way. The way the code works is it must do everything inside the jaws before it can move on to the next blocks. So if I wanted to put hello outside the loop, he'll now have to move 10 steps before he can say hello. So he'll move one step 10 times, then say hello. Easy enough. If I put this in front of the loop, he'll say hello before he does the movement, and so on. The advantage of movement blocks like this, of repeat blocks like this, is that they grow, so I can put more and more things into them. So I could have that he moves one step, then says hello for 2 seconds. So my code would execute, and I would have move one step, say hello for 2 seconds, move one step, say hello for 2 seconds, move one step, say hello for 2 seconds. Now notice the loop grew each time I added something inside it, as long as I make sure I get it inside and not underneath. These will stretch, and I can have as many things inside the loop as I want. The other option you'll see is I can click in it, and I can change the numbers of times that action is repeated. So whatever's inside the loop is repeated 10 times before I move on to the next block in my stack. You may have noticed there is another block in here in the repeat loop, which is called the forever loop. This time I don't have the option. It's basically like putting infinity in there, in that these actions will repeat forever without end. So he'll move a step, he'll say hello, he'll change costumes, then it'll go back to the top. He'll move a step, he'll say hello, he'll change to costume 2, and so on. Because a forever loop cannot end, there is no little nubble on the bottom for it attached to the next block. So a forever loop is usually the outer layer, and we can embed repeat loops inside it if we want to, and things like that, so we build up more complicated code. But a forever loop means that after the green flag is clicked, these things will keep on happening in a loop forever and ever and ever. A couple more commands in there as well. We've got loops that have got ifs and thens. We'll look at those in a separate video because we're starting to build up to much more complicated commands. There is also quite a powerful one in here as well that can sometimes be used at the bottom of a code, which is called stop all. If you've got a complicated game going on with lots of different things happening, it can always be worth having a little bit of code in there along the lines of when spacebar is clicked, it stops everything. So it's like the opposite of the green flag. So you could sort of hit a kill switch to end a code and bring it all back to stop. So those are the controls, or the introduction to the controls. We'll have a look at the if then and the if then else loops in another video. Have fun exploring and playing with them, and remember, you can build loops inside loops inside loops if you really want to. Just always think about the syntax and the sentence that you're building. So work your way down the stack from top to bottom, and then follow the arrow, and the arrow will send you up to the jaw that you've just gone from. Have fun.